Hello everyone, I'm Pants, the lead game director of upcoming fan MMO Toontown Event Horizon.
Howdy everybody, I'm Cyberbite, but you can call me Retro. I'm the 2D visual arts lead for the upcoming fan MMO Toontown Event Horizon.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenzen Plays, but you can call me Ken for short. I'm the lead community manager of Toontown Event Horizon, and I'm glad to be able to help keep the peace between players where I can.
Welcome to the very first edition of Horizon Talks. This will be the first video of our YouTube channel and the first of many more informative videos about the game to be released periodically. For this first video, our voices are actually pre-recorded, but the presentation format is subject to further development, and we might see something different in the future.
You may have been directed here through our lead's socials or through the Toontown Event Horizon Twitter launched last week. Toontown Event Horizon is a fan game MMORPG based on the original Toontown Online. Event Horizon strives to further evolve the game in a world that we all choose to hold on to.
We're compiling this info video together for two reasons: to describe our history and our structure as a project team, and to set the preface of Event Horizon and what type of game experience players would be expecting us to create.
In the following order, we will be covering these topics in different sections: our project history, including our split from former project Toontown Galaxy, our current direction, previews for the game, and answering submitted questions. I will leave the timestamps for these sections for you to skip ahead, or if you're watching live, you may tune back in at the following times. We have a lot to talk about, and we have a lot to show, so please stick around.
So, without further ado, let us begin the discussion.
Some of you may already be aware that Toontown Event Horizon is a derivative project stemming from the now defunct Toontown Galaxy, or TTG. Many members of the staff team for Event Horizon, including Pants and Retro, were formerly working for TTG under its own management. Toontown Galaxy was a small Toontown private server project that started in 2020 with very ambitious visions, promising to become one of the most ambitious Toontown servers in existence, with new gags, new playgrounds, new cogs, and more. These large-scope goals, though proclaimed by many to be unrealistic, attracted many prospective developers, artists, and creators to support the project and help it become reality.
When I first joined the TTG team in December 2020 as a composer, I slowly found out on the inside that the game had made very little progress, despite its 2-year-long history of promoting and seeking great heights for a Toontown server. To quote the former project lead, "We don't have something that defines Toontown Galaxy yet." So, ideas for gameplay began flowing through my head, and I began writing.
Meanwhile, I had been hired as one of the several concept artists working for the team, and while working there, Pants had privately contacted me and another dev that's also currently working for TTEVH. He wanted us to help him make a presentation for a battle system revamp along with his game ideas.
Helping the team realize both current ideas and my own new ideas, I worked my way up to become TTG's lead producer, and we were finally on a roll. Artworks were being produced, game features were being coded, teasers were planned, deadlines were met. What seemed like a pipe dream for years was finally turning the page from concept to reality.
The first trailer for Toontown Galaxy was released on February 1st, another teaser was uploaded on the February 5th. Hype was being built, and the team was expanding. And for once, the light of release was in sight. There was a game coming. However, this hype was short-lived. On February 14th, the project suddenly announced its closure.
2 nights beforehand, I returned home from class to see that most of my friends suddenly left the project. Privately, I was contacted by them to see the reason why. In short, there was severe misconduct committed by another lead about the team environment and people's concerns about its safety. This all happened in a formal complaint that only the other leads were involved in, and I was given very little context by the other leads post-mortem before I began investigating the issue for myself. After seeing everything that had occurred, I stood with my afflicted colleagues and demanded reforms to the TTG staff team, holding every asset and every line of code I've helped produce up to this point hostage unless change was enforced. However, the damage was too much, and all of the other leads ended up resigning. In the end, I ultimately chose to dissolve Toontown Galaxy and to reclaim everything that was left.
With 3 months of work in limbo, we worked together to migrate our progress out of the old cloud drives and repositories. We had actually planned to rebrand TTG to a new name long before its closure, and so a new project was born out of the ashes, Toontown Event Horizon. After recovering from the events of TTG's closure, we began rebuilding our team structure entirely by appointing new leads and finding new and closely trusted talent. With frequent consultation with other fellow team members, I personally handle our internal guidelines to ensure that the team environment is safe and welcoming for both talents, young and old.
In addition, Event Horizon's technical team has been repopulated with closely trusted recruits and experienced advisors. The infrastructures for social media management, website security, source code security, etc. are currently being completely redone from scratch. Toontown Galaxy's website and Discord server were prone to several attacks, leaks, and malicious raids. Our website and socials have restarted development with this in mind. Ensuring that these types of vulnerabilities are prevented, not amended for, is key for the safety of our staff, our work, and our players.
Both mistakes and miracles were made in Toontown Galaxy, and it is our utmost priority to learn from the mistakes made just as much as we expand upon the miracles.
Toontown Event Horizon's development continues from the work made in the final 3 months of Toontown Galaxy, starting in December 2021. The contents planned for the initial Q1 2022 testing phase still remain intact, albeit delayed for project migration and quality assurance. There is no new testing date confirmed yet, unfortunately.
However, our goals for Event Horizon have been adjusted to shoot for something more realistic, yet just as unique and innovative. Our staff team currently sits at a total of 27 members, 11 members formerly working for Toontown Galaxy, and 16 new members introduced after Event Horizon development returned to full operations.
Although our team may be ever expanding, we are still humbly small. Scope and realistic deadlines are critical parts of the game development cycle, and it's best to set ambitions that can actually be reached in a reasonable time frame. Good creative leadership accounts for hype and momentum, but it also accounts for potential burnout and ensuring the comfort of our team members. We work in a way that lets us harmonize our strengths, yet still back up for each other's weaknesses.
One of the most common questions we've received about Event Horizon is, what will set apart this game from other Toontown projects we've seen with big ambitions before? Toontown Event Horizon is better described as a fan game that portrays the future of Toontown Online, rather than an alternate universe or reinterpretation. Our development is currently focused into 3 major aspects of the game: artistic story and world building, the turn-based battle system, and player customization.
Toontown Event Horizon does not aim to add upon or replace the original Toontown online game experience. The original Toontown experience has been remade several times before to phenomenal degrees of quality, and so making another attempt on the same formula would simply be redundant. Instead, most of the original game's features, such as minigames, states, and activities, will either be absent or reintroduced in a completely new way.
Our goal is to completely overhaul the core game loop of cog battles and task lines to ensure that each battle, each encounter, and each story beat is unique and handcrafted for an immersive gameplay experience. Combat, art, and story, intertwined, come first. Any feature outside of the core game loop is sidelined almost completely, in order for us to efficiently focus on making the main game and story as engaging as possible.
By doing so, we strive to exist adjacent to other servers, not as a competitor, but rather as a complement that offers an inspired yet non-identical experience. It might not necessarily be Toontown, but it's the part of it that we grasp and choose to create more of.
From the very start, the base game of Event Horizon will be rebuilt from the ground up with the modularity to support many additions with ease. The Battle Calculator, an infamously outdated module of original Toontown code used to handle cog battles, has been recreated entirely to allow for new battle mechanics and other interactions. Classic RPG mechanics not present in the original game, such as status effects, impactful abilities, and enemy specialties, will not only become realized, but will become commonplace and a staple to our encounter design and balancing. Every battle aims to be unique. We are still aiming for new gags, new playgrounds, and especially new enemies, but our development approach will be additive and will build upon a pre-established base. The whole game won't be released at once, but rather in either smaller updates readjusting game features or episodic updates portraying the story. In fact, the first testing phase of the game will only contain a single small area. yet one that tests every game mechanic and shows plot importance to the best of its compact ability. Despite expanding upon the existing MMO base, our workflow is much more akin to that of an indie game or fan game, with more creativity and building ground up in mind.
Veterans of the original Toontown Online are our primary audience. Please note that we will be raising the recommended age minimum for Event Horizon. The game itself will aim for an E10 and up rating, meaning no swearing, no overly crude humor, and no explicit violence, so that younger players with parental discretion can still enjoy Event Horizon along with older players. Pirates of the Caribbean Online, another now defunct Disney MMO that was also rated E10 and up, will act as one of our main points of reference for moderation and family friendliness.
The 2 video teasers for Toontown Galaxy made in February are canon, by the way. So without saying too much, our story does get dark, but the fun is never lost. That's all I can really say. And so, we held on.
We hope that this gives you a good idea on what to expect from Event Horizon. We cannot reveal too much right now, but we would like to show you some of our in-development progress throughout our time in TTG and TTEVH.
Alright, this is the fun part.
Shipment has been processed. The South Wing exhibit is now open for display.
We would like to give you a special preview of Toontown Event Horizon's first new battle feature, the Atomic Gag Track. Created from an endless endeavor of experiment and entropy, atomic gags harness the chaotic power of atoms, a ton of maniacal science, to slowly and silently, subtly subdue suits with inside jokes before surging through with a sudden, supernatural, severe, and seriously silly atomic blast! We will explain how atomic works in the near future, but we can't go into detail quite yet. For now, here's a clip that the devs sneakily slipped under our door. Please enjoy the following previews as a first look into the world of Toontown Event Horizon.
With the end of our previews, we'd like to conclude this video with a Q&A. On the Toontown Event Horizon Twitter, we posted a form asking for your questions about the project, and the time has come for us to answer. Toontown is oftentimes viewed as an easy game, with some people believing it cannot be made difficult without unfair design decisions. How will Toontown Event Horizon make a tough but fair experience for all players?
One of Toontown Online's biggest gameplay flaws, especially in the battle system, is its low bandwidth in player choices. You choose one action per turn, which typically only does one thing, deal damage, heal, lure, etc. In order for the opposition to grow in impact and still be fair, the players themselves must also be given better ability to dish out flexible, high-impact moves. Thus, the game will empower the players just as much as it empowers the challenge. There will be much more involvement in a single turn than just picking the right gag or the right combo, through new mechanics both in player choice and in enemy counter-offense. Please note that these mechanics may not all be available at the start of testing. And most of all, we are more concerned about something being boring than being OP. If it's fun and not game-breaking or polarizing, power to the player, honestly. We'll be monitoring each power spike to ensure that one playstyle does not dominate over the rest.
Since both Galaxy and Event Horizon have an outer spacey sounding name, will there be sci-fi elements in Event Horizon?
Yes! Sci-fi and cartoony themes go hand in hand in Event Horizon. Science won't be the only theme highlighted, but we will be taking a lot of inspiration from our favorite medias about space travel, the atomic age, etc.
Will there be difficulty settings designed for veterans and skilled players?
Although we will enforce a minimum difficulty to keep the game engaging, there will be new features that will put it in the player's hands to create their own personalized blend between a smooth casual experience or an intense rewarding challenge. So yes, I think you could say the difficulty will be configurable.
Are you using Toontown Galaxy's codebase? If so, Galaxy used leaked code, which is not ethical.
Throughout its history, before our current devs on the Event Horizon team joined the scene, Toontown Galaxy has unfortunately been a host of developer malpractices and stolen work. An archive repository of Toontown Galaxy's source code released shortly after its closure is evidence of this. However, our current developers have created every new feature separately from this codebase, without interference from any unlicensed code.
As part of migration out of TTG and into Event Horizon, all of our original features were ported to a clean source, and any stolen code was completely wiped out. From now on, any code not directly made by Event Horizon staff will only be pulled with express permission, or from archives with open source licensing like Cog Invasion Online. Our ears are always open to collaboration and new implementations as long as it's done in a professional and work-respecting manner.
Who is paying for server funds? Will real-world money be a factor in this game whatsoever?
Toontown Event Horizon is an entirely non-profit fan project funded by volunteers on the team such as myself. Outside of internal volunteer funding, there will be no monetary transactions involved with the game in any capacity.
When will a public Discord be opened? So far, we have launched our Twitter and YouTube for current reveals. In the near future, there will be another reveal that will mark the launch of our website, the staff application system, and our public Discord server. Please stay tuned to this channel or to Toontown Event Horizon on Twitter to be up to speed when that time comes. What is the team's game design philosophy regarding gag types, old and new?
Toontown Online's original gag tracks are very simple and easy to pick up in nature. In Toontown Event Horizon, we want our gag tracks to remain similar in fluidity and elegance so that players won't feel like they're solving a puzzle just to make an entire track work. However, there will be a large focus on skill ceiling increases, innovative combos, and potential for speed optimization or high-impact plays in battle. Situational multi-track synergy will be encouraged as equally as single-track unison. There is no single solution that dominates the game. Yes, lore is nerfed. Yes, sound is nerfed. We have our own unique ways to keep them viable in the future. In addition, players will not always have the same options in every battle. Flexibility and variance are key.
Are there going to be new bosses?
Yes. For turn-based battles, the system for what are known as mini-bosses will be expanded beyond single encounters. As for real-time boss fights, although they're not currently a priority, we have been experimenting with modifications to the original 4 COG bosses. As Event Horizon's developments continue to expand, we hope we can add new real-time boss designs, areas, and mechanics to the checklist.
Will there be new COG and Toon species, or just redesigns of the original ones?
Absolutely! Toons and Cogs will see many new variations, and Toons will be able to customize their appearance in many new ways. Although we plan to revamp some old designs, we will stay true to appearances in classic Toontown online media, such as the trading card art and other brand art.
Is there a new COG faction?
Actually, somewhat thinking really out beyond old traditions. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds.
Okay. Will the game have horror elements?
Event Horizon's story is very subversive of what you would expect out of Toontown. The overall narrative is deep, dramatic, and fierce, though still in moderation to keep the game just as toony as it is dark. With that said, we will be very open to delving into just the right amount of scary elements to make the opposition keep the player on their toes. Anything can happen. That's E10, of course.
Is this game using the base Toontown game and building off of it, like Corporate Clash? Or are you building a new game from the ground up with engines like Unity or Unreal Engine?
Similar to other previous Toontown servers, we will be running on heavy modifications to the original Toontown base game in Panda 3D.
What is the team's background in game development?
Although our game developers' backgrounds vary, most of their experiences in common include hobbyist programming and extensive experimental coding on their own sandboxes of the Toontown source code. As lead game director, I provide a small hand in prototyping and implementing features I create game design concepts for. However, my capabilities are far exceeded by the devs.
Will Toontown Event Horizon have a tropical theme?
We plan to explore many new themes in the future as part of our push for new playgrounds. And there you have it, tropical is one of them. It won't be in the game for a while, but we have many concepts for new areas in development that will spice up the atmosphere in each encounter.
Do you have a quality assurance team?
Currently, the quality assurance of our backends, such as server strength and website, is self-operated and stress-tested by other staff members. Game design QA is handled through formal playtests conducted by myself on trusted peers of diverse backgrounds, ranging from tournament-level video game competitors to elders in a nursing home. However, when testing opens for the game, Toontown Online veterans and content creators will be our first priority for alpha testers to provide tact feedback and help us ensure a smooth gameplay experience. Have you considered not using any of the base playgrounds? What would you say the general difficulty level will be relative to existing servers? We don't necessarily want to be more difficult than other servers, but at the same time, we want to make sure that the player isn't lost or frustrated overly. So I would say the typical difficulty will be a bit above usual, but it won't rise like to overclocked levels every single battle, for example. Like, it's gotta have that valence. Like, some battles are gonna be super hard, some battles are gonna be pretty easy. In general, it's always supposed to feel like you can find a solution. What do you think is the biggest challenge for making Event Horizon? I think it's gotta be polishing everything we've made. Doing the prototyping is fun, but making sure that it's at its absolute best. It takes a lot of time, a lot of reiteration. You gotta go through the same design process over and over again. It can feel tedious, but that's just kind of how design goes. You gotta be able to stick to something and make it better. What makes you think the project will make it when many others have failed? Well, we kinda did already for a bit, but hey, I personally say it would take a lot of dedication to your work to be able to bounce back from dark times like that. So I have faith in myself and in the team. I think with our progress and our direction, with our capabilities and our passion, with our willingness to keep on holding on even when our project was at the brink of death, with all of that, I think we've got a shot. I'm gonna be honest, I think we got a shot. And of course, the most important question out of this entire Q&A, soft shell or hard shell tacos? Well, I can't exactly provide a consensus for myself, but I put it to a vote. There you go. Looks like you fought a hard battle. 15-7. Yeah, I'll go now. Thank you very much for joining us for our very first Horizon Talks. We look forward to seeing the great things we can make for Event Horizon. And we'll see you next time. I'm Pants, lead game director.
I'm Retro, 2D visual arts lead.
I'm Kenson, the lead community manager.
And we're signing off. Stay safe and hold on.